What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of StreamKey, episode 150. Believe it or not, it's probably fake. We don't actually do the math here. But anyway, so we got two amazing guests here today. We got Robu, or Robbusey, as some people know him, because that's his new name on Twitch. It's good to have you back, man. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good. It's Thursday now? I feel like all my days are blending together, but it's good to be here, man. I like being on the show and talking to everybody. It's fun. So
Love having you, man.
I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. And then we got Pimz, which I think Pimz was on the show like a long time ago.
I think I was one of the first people to be on the show in the office.
Oh shit, that's right. Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah, man. So Pimz is he was on the show like a long time ago. Took a hiatus from streaming and everything, but he's back now with a shaved face and a pretty forehead. And yeah, it's good to have you on the show, man.
I polished my forehead just for you.
Thank you. I didn't request it, but I did demand it in a way. So and then Sadomi, the fucking co-host. What's up, man?
Hello. Good morning.
Good to have you on, dude. All right, dude. So the first topic we got today is Dr. Disrespect is still the third most watched Call of Duty streamer, even though hasn't been streaming in like over a month. It's definitely over a month now, right?
Yeah.
Like well over a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got the numbers right here. If I could find my cursor. Hello. Where? Okay, there we go. So Nick Merckx is in first place right here with 29.1 million hours watched. Then it's Tim the Tatman with like half of that at 14 million. Then Dr. Disrespect at 12, Swag and Symphony, and then there's obviously more like the lower you go. But the fact that Dr. Disrespect is still the third most watched, even though he hasn't streamed in almost a month, is absolutely insane to me. I thought that was very cool. It just shows how much influence he does have on the platform. So starting with Sadomi, what do you think about this, man? Dr. Disrespect and being banned.
Like he's probably one of the biggest faces on Twitch. Even as somebody who hasn't streamed in forever, people are still talking about him. Like people still all like wondering, why is he not here? Why did he get banned? Whoa.
Yeah.
And he's one of the most unique broadcasters on Twitch too. So it's not surprising that he still has high numbers, because I'm sure Ninja is still probably the most watched by hour of Fortnite streamer in 2019, even though he missed the last 2 months for going to Mixer. So I can see the same thing for Dr. D.
Right. Robu?
It's interesting because I think it makes sense to me anyway, because like not only was Doc just that was like his game, but he also worked on several Call of Duties. So like he did map design and stuff for them. So like he was much more ingrained with that community in general than just somebody streaming the game. So it makes sense to me that like certain people would come just to watch him, because again, he is a recognizable face on Twitch, but he's also really embedded in that community. So there's going to be people there that might not even necessarily care about Twitch, but they really are into Call of Duty, and so they're there to like watch him, right? Because he would often talk about like stuff that they would do, or things that like he didn't think they were doing correctly, or that he would fix or change and stuff like that. So there was a different aspect to watching his streams than just like watching him kill people, right?
Right. I got you. I totally forgot that he used to work for he used to work on Call of Duty. That's just like you said, another reason. Pimz, my dude. You got anything on this one, my guy?
I think it says a lot to the kind of streamer that he was, like, and the kind of force of nature that he was for Twitch. It also means that I think it's in. I might be getting two articles confused, but I think there was mention of something like. Oh no, sorry, that's a different article. But it basically says that whatever platform he does go to now that he's been banned, is getting something very unique to the Call of Duty community, and we're probably going to see a lot of people actually convert over. If Mixer was still a thing and he had signed with Mixer, I think he probably would have been able to convert the majority of his audience just because of his presence in that side of the community. Like that it says a lot for what he's built. Like he genuinely has built a streaming empire.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be exciting to see where he goes, because obviously for the time being it's not going to be Twitch. But it will be cool to like see how he does compared to like Ninja or Shroud, who have seen like less than 15% of their viewer base switch over to a different platform. which is crazy. Like that's crazy low. Everybody, I mean, obviously everybody thought it would be more. But yeah, hopefully Dr. Disrespect is able to like keep more of his community wherever he goes, and keep putting up numbers like that because it's just insane.
Yeah.
So the next topic we have is Twitch partnering with a company called Community, CXMMUNITY, to build an esports league for historically Black colleges and universities. Says the league will aim to provide competitive opportunities for HBCU students to compete within an organized esports league. This will allow HBCU students to gain access to educational and scholarship support that is being offered through Twitch Student, which I'm not familiar with. Wasn't able to find anything online about that. But it is a cool thing that Twitch is doing. I literally had never heard of this until today, but like a whole separate league just for this, I think is pretty cool. What do you guys think about this one? We'll start with Sadomi.
It's yeah, it's good. It's like I said, esports is a very weird representation where you don't see a lot of people of color, a lot of women. You see a lot of kind of the same faces going everywhere, and having the HCPUs have more opportunity for people to join esports and get more familiar faces in the crowd. Because like if I go to an event and like I know there's like 3 like professional Rocket players, 3 Black ones, and those are the only ones I like know by face by heart, and it's cool. Growing up, if you don't see people who look like you're doing stuff, you don't really get a sense that you can do it,
right?
And a lot of people don't really understand that, and even I didn't understand that till a very long time. I had to really like sit down and like talk about myself. I'm like, wait, why do I think I'm the only person doing what I'm doing? So it's very empowering, and good for them.
Oh yeah, Pimz.
I think it's honestly a much needed move, especially given like the state that things are in the U.S. in particular. Like this kind of representation can only be good for gaming. Right, it's normalizing things. It's incredibly important, and like Sadomi says, like in most leagues we see predominantly white and Asian players, with a few, depending on region. You'll see like Brazil has a very high representation rate just because of their region in a lot of esports, but in North America specifically, it's very, very like it's the same people all over the place, and it's a lot of the same orgs. I think this has potential to help us bring some new orgs into several scenes, on top of just this new league itself.
Robu, my dude.
I mean, I don't think I can really say much that hasn't already been said, but again, I think it's just great that there are things that are happening right now that, like Pim said, kind of normalizes things or brings people that haven't necessarily had adequate representation to the forefront, and like makes things a little bit more impactful that way. Because I mean, not just with esports, but just in general, like I hate to say it, and again, these views are my own and not representative of Twitch Prime. But like the Twitch video that went out for like Black Lives Matter was like awful, right?
A joke.
Like, was just not good. And so I think any situation that just brings people to the forefront and actually gives them a voice and amplifies those things, like is always a good thing, right? And anybody that has a problem with that, I have a problem with. So blame me.
No, that makes sense. And like this will be cool because it's opening up opportunities for I guess diversified role models for kids. You know what I mean? Because like Sadomi was saying, like you didn't see that much of this kind of stuff going on when you were younger, and it's still like just now starting to kind of open up more. And it'll be cool to see like the wave of difference that'll come in the future because of things like this. Because obviously this won't be the only thing. It's just going to keep progressing in the right way, which is really, really cool. And it's cool to see Twitch kind of try to step up and really help out the industry in that way. So I actually missed the first topic I wanted to talk about. I scrolled down on accident, but Ninja streamed on Twitch yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. He streamed on Twitch randomly at I think 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Nobody really knew what was going on. But it was him, Dr. Lupo, and they played the new Fortnite season. Within 15 minutes of going live, he was close to 100,000 viewers, and that's just, it's nuts because there was no announcement. It was just he went live. I remember I was watching Tim the Tatman stream, and then Tim the Tatman's chat just started saying Ninja's live on Twitch. I'm like, that can't be real. So I went over there, checked it out, and he was actually live, and it was super weird. We still don't know where Ninja's going to be streaming, like if there's any exclusivity coming up or anything, but he's clearly testing things out. I know that he streamed on YouTube like a month ago and put up really good numbers. I think that stream has 4 million views right now after the fact. So obviously Ninja has an audience no matter where he goes. But Robu, being the Twitch Prime guy, and seeing the differences, with everything with Ninja leaving and then potentially coming back, like, what do you think about all this, man?
So I was really surprised that he was streaming on Twitch, given how everything kind of ended with him and everything that happened with his channel and stuff like that. That was very surprising to me. From the Twitch Prime side of things, I know we'd be happy to have him back because obviously he's a huge Twitch Prime advocate, right? Like he talked about it a ton. Right. And like that showed, to be honest, when we were looking at numbers and like Twitch Prime subs and stuff like that, because his channel was always like at the top or near the top because he talked about it so much and because he was Ninja. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up streaming somewhere else in the long run. I don't think he'll ever, sign an exclusive deal with Twitch. Right. I think he's realized for a while now that his brand is much more beyond just Twitch. And he's just, he's got a ton of money right now. So he doesn't really need to do that stuff. He's pretty comfortable if he wants to be. But I also feel like signing an exclusive deal with Twitch specifically would just kind of hamper those things. So I don't think that will happen.
Okay. Sadomi.
So, dude, Rob, you were actually right on point. Of course, he's not going to sign an exclusive deal. And if he does, he has the most leverage power in that situation.
Yeah.
Like he writes what goes in that contract. And it's just like, Twitch, you taking it? No? Okay, cool. Bye.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's, and also I think for him, he's not worried about. I think he's not worried about streaming anymore. I think that's no longer his like focus. You can kind of just tell too, because if it was, he would have probably made a more solid move already. But now I definitely think he's probably gonna go. I've heard rumors or heard like stories that he wanted to move into Hollywood. I could definitely see him doing that easily, mainly because one, he's the gateway from, we'll say, normie society to the Twitch gaming society.
Right.
As you guys have seen with any kind of gamer movie or tech movie, they are horribly out of touch. And so having that gateway with Ninja, he could potentially have more leveraging power as even like a consultant for that like source, if not just like a face for it too. So like I said, he has options. And it's essentially just what does he want to focus on and in which direction does he want to go? Does he want to stay an on-camera personality or does he want to go onto the back end of things? So yeah, we'll see in about 6 months.
Okay. Pimz.
I want to touch a little bit on the exclusivity because I don't think that anyone's really going to be searching for that exclusivity deal right now, especially given what's going on with Doc. Like I think it would be bad for Ninja to be signing anything with Twitch right now, because it's been shown to be like if Twitch changes their mind on you, you're just gone. So I think so. The fact that he's got 4 million views on YouTube, it shows like how pervasive his presence is. Because it's 4 million views a month later, which means people have been going and watching that stream offline, just to watch Ninja. Like that is what that says to me, and I think that's a very, very that might be one of the things that swings him away from Twitch. Is, hey, there's 4 million people on YouTube that want to watch me, regardless of if I'm live. And it potentially also opens up the door for him to go into other stuff, like Sadomi said. Like he could start putting out tech reviews or something wild like that, and people would still watch it because the man has character, right?
Mm-hmm.
His character, he has reputation. People know him, and people are actively looking for his content. I definitely think this is going to be a time where we see him branch out. Absolutely.
Yeah. Apparently he already had a role in Jumanji 2, like, but it was cut out before it was released, so nobody got to see it. So he has already kind of dipped his toe a little bit in like Hollywood and movies and stuff like that. But for it to get cut like that would suck. Like that, I don't know why it got cut. Obviously, hopefully it's not for anything that like he's just bad at acting. But yeah, it'll be cool to see the other movies that he tries to get into. I know he was talking about doing voice casting or voice acting as well. So I could see him being in like a Lego movie for sure. Like I think that would be a huge one for him. But yeah, I think as far as like the exclusivity goes, I think a lot of streamers are gonna like in the future. I don't think people are gonna be signing with Twitch unless like they can work out a way to where you just can't get banned randomly and without any sort of like explanation as to why. Because that's scary. Like it obviously it happened to Dr. Disrespect, and it's nuts. And I know that a lot of streamers will, not want that in their contract at all. Like that's not good at all. So hopefully Twitch can kind of like update their stuff and make it kind of more reasonable for the streamers that they're signing. But yeah, just interesting stuff. It'll be cool to see where Ninja goes for sure.
Now I do want to hit one thing real quick.
Yeah.
It's about Dr. Disrespect. He knows why I got banned. He knows. He knows.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just under the I just assume that he's being truthful just because of the interviews that I've read. I mean, he could just be totally lying just for the sake of like not getting in trouble. Like that would make sense. But for right now, like I don't know anything, and he's saying that he doesn't know anything. So like I really don't have like any reason to not believe him because I don't have any grounds to you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, this is a discussion for another day, but I'm sticking to my viewpoint on this one.
Right, I got you. No, I mean it makes sense. Like there's reasons, like there's reasons to why like he would know and reasons why he wouldn't. Like it's just it is what it is, and nobody really knows anything yet. So next topic we have. Oh yeah, and by the way, people in the chat, if you guys have any questions for us about your stream or any of the topics that we're talking about, make sure to at myself and or TRUgaming in the chat, and we'll try to answer your question for you. If you also want to come on the call and like join us and ask us a question about whatever streaming related, whether it's your channel or like the topics that we're talking about, just let me know and we'll figure out a way to get that done for you guys. All right. So the next topic we have is Twitch signs simulcast exclusivity deal with Entercom's sports radio talk shows. Like, okay, so I don't really know, like I don't listen to these sports radio talk shows at all, but I know it's a really big thing in the sports world as far as like football and everything goes. But this is going to make it so viewers will be able to interact with the show through Twitch chat, something that obviously wasn't happening before because it's just radio. But it is interesting. It'll be exciting to see what happens with this. And obviously this is just another way that Twitch is trying to like dive into the sports world a little bit more, after already opening up an entire category for sports on Twitch. So starting with Pimz, what do you think about this, man?
I'm actually not super surprised by this, just given how much we've started seeing kind of that IRL, as we've collectively called it, labeled it on Twitch. I'd be happy to be able to watch baseball on. I would start watching baseball again if it was on Twitch. Like that. That is something for me, and I think that's probably something for a lot of people. Where with a lot of what's going on, like they don't necessarily know where to go watch stuff right now. Like if there's no coverage coming from major television, where do I go? And one of the main detractors for me for watching stuff is I spend most of my time on Twitch on YouTube, and I don't really feel like going and digging through Reddit to find a simulcast of a baseball game. Right, like that's not something. So I've stopped watching because of it. And then touching back into something that happened for me a couple of years ago, my local lacrosse team, which I used to watch. I've watched them since 2006 or something. Got bought out, moved to a different city. I couldn't watch them locally, so I stopped watching. But now, like, if they were to be streaming on Twitch, it would be something I would absolutely pick up. I think it's a good move, and I think it's going to kind of be one of those bridges. Sadomi touched on Ninja being the gateway from normie society to gamers. This is another kind of contact point that's going to help normalize our culture to an extent, and bring us into a more accepted place with people, and they might realize that, hey, there's a lot of effort that goes into this streaming thing.
Yeah.
Now,
Definitely agree with that.
What team was that moved?
That was the Edmonton Rush.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah. I have we were talking before this about sign stuff. I have a signed jersey just gathering dust in my closet, and every so often I look over and I cry a little. Yeah.
I feel the pain.
Yeah.
Robu, what you got on this one, man?
So to be totally transparent, I'm not a huge sports person, but I will say that when I did watch sports, I obviously enjoyed it, and then I didn't have cable, and I still don't actually have cable. I haven't had cable for several years now, and I'm not so like into sports that I'm going to go find the roundabout ways to watch sports still. So I'm just like, all right, well, don't have television, so never mind, right? But honestly, like being able to do something like that on Twitch, I would actually probably watch it again. Like I'm probably again only going to probably watch the streams that are relevant to me and my teams, but being able to just like, oh look, I can just click this button and there it is, like just the ease of use and being able to find it, I would actually probably do it again. So I think it's a good move. I think it kind of just broadens their audience, right? Like especially given the fact that there are going to be a lot of people that game on Twitch, but there's also going to be a lot of kids that probably are going to find out about it. And, maybe they bring it up to their dad that isn't necessarily a gamer, but is looking for a way to watch sports for whatever reason. Like, oh, look, here's a really easy way for me to watch a local sports team, right?
Right.
I know for me, just thinking about my own kids, I know if my son were like, oh, hey, we can watch this on the site that I use that I enjoy using, and we can watch football together, Dad, I would be like, I don't know what the hell this is, but I'll go do it because I want to bond with my child, right?
Right.
So I mean, I think it could be cool. I think there's a definite like possibility of there for an audience that they don't necessarily have now to come over to check stuff out. Because like the one time a friend of mine tried to like do the roundabout way of like watching a game because he also didn't have cable, it was like such a headache and so ridiculous that I think we tried for a half hour. The game had already started, and finally we're like, you just want to play some StarCraft? Like,
yeah,
ridiculous. So I think it could be cool. I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, awesome. Sadomi?
I am probably one of I'm a big fan of soccer. You should probably tell from my small soccer collection. I have more in the garage, but but yeah, I've always thought that there is a huge crossover between like sports fans and like just people who are on Twitch, because generally a lot of sports fans are male. A lot of Twitch demographic is male. A lot of them, that crossover kind of just is there. And again, with how sports are, a lot of us don't have cable. A lot of people who are familiar with Twitch don't generally also have cable, just because people on Twitch are more tech savvy. We kind of know not to get cable because we're not going to use it. We watch YouTube, we watch Twitch. We don't use cable. We can't stand ads. We install ad blockers. We have like 17 ad blockers on all our apps, guaranteed. I have 3 running right now. So yeah, Twitch could definitely capitalize by getting more sports on the platform. But the problem will come from getting the correct. They've definitely tried. I know that there was the International Women's Hockey League that streamed on Twitch for a little bit. I'm not sure if they still do or not. I hope they're not right now. But I know that there's so many different things I've tried. They've done wrestling, they've done hockey. I'm not sure how long it'll take for major sports platforms like the MLB, NBA to really get like as on board. The NFL started with Thursday Night Football, but I don't see if they want to even get more in depth with that. But also, they have their own services usually, like NFL Network. Like you're going to push your customers to your own platform. Like, duh, you keep all the pie, cut the middleman out. Simple as that. People who want to watch football are going to get the games they want to get, or watch them illegally, or just go on Twitch and watch them illegally on Twitch, because you kind of can if you know where to look at the right times. Not going to say you should. It's wrong. Don't do it. But if you wanted to, do it for research purposes.
Science.
NBA 2K20 directory can be popping sometimes.
Not saying anything else. All right. Sadomi, there's a question from Righteous Ranger kind of on this topic that I'll let you answer. Why do you think sports networks didn't dive headfirst into esports during this pandemic?
Oh, easy. Because this is not my personal belief. This is exactly how how probably people at ESPN believe it. Why would we show video games on a sports network?
I mean, they show video games like for sure, but it's definitely not their like a concern of theirs to worry about, esports or gaming.
It's like how if anything, ESPN would show esports the same way Amazon would buy for Twitch.
Okay, all right, yeah, that makes sense.
And it's essentially, Amazon isn't really like, yo, we gotta put everything we own into Twitch. No, they want to own Twitch to have like, have some footing in the live streaming area, but not really. Like they're not like Amazon doesn't need Twitch. They just have Twitch for fun.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mind you, I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know any of this.
These views do not reflect the view. Oh, no.
These views are my own and personally. But yeah, so like I said, it's or even what's another good example? I can't even think of a better example actually right now.
Yeah,
but essentially,
ESPN's a good one though for sure.
Yeah, like they don't need esports.
Right. They're doing just fine with the main sports for sure.
Yeah, but they probably do have a vested interest in trying to get a small foothold, like get some roots in there. So in case it does blow up to the mainstream, as in like you can talk to your grandma about esports. Then they want to put more time into it. But right now, I don't think they see it as a major focal point for the business, so they're not going to do it. Also, they may just not have the infrastructure to know how to do it.
Right.
Because again, it's still new, and ESPN isn't a really agile company, so they're not going to be able to do something in 2 months' time. It's going to take like 6 months of planning, 8 months of planning, a year planning, to probably do something like that. Yeah,
not to mention all the people that they would have to hire, because it's not like you can just have like a football guy go over and start working on video game stuff. Even if the video game itself is Madden, you know what I mean? Like it still like won't necessarily translate as much. Max the Catfish says sports feel so opposite of what Twitch provides. Near zero interaction with viewers and inherent competition between teams. I don't know. I actually think that like, especially like a football team, like a football game on Twitch would be really fun, because then you could see all the other people who are rooting for the other team. Like if like the Detroit Lions, if they were to ever win a game on Twitch or at all, if they were to score on somebody else, and then I saw other people in the chat that were mad that their team just got scored on by the Detroit Lions, I would feel really, really good. And that would just make me want to watch it even more. You know what I mean? Like seeing, like, it's like being at a game. I remember sitting next to a Packers fan, and like the whole time we were just shit talking the whole game. And it was great. It definitely makes you more invested in the game itself. So like, yeah, there's less interaction with like, the actual stream, but the community behind watching the sport, I think, is what would really sell it on Twitch. I think that'd be, personally, I think that'd be a great time. Anybody else got anything on this one?
I mean, I think Sadomi kind of hit it. Like, they have a very specific thing that they do, and they do that thing, and they've done it for a very long time. So like, just the ROI on trying to like dive into something quickly to hit that is probably negative, like way down. Like they're going to have a huge upfront investment if they wanted to try to do it well. They're going to have to hire people to do it, and then they're probably going to do it wrong at first, right? They're going to flounder a bit. there's going to be a bunch of things that they just don't understand or don't get, and they've dumped a bunch of money into it now. So now they're invested. It's just one of those things where like you need to focus on what your strengths are and focus on the things that you do well, rather than trying to like divide your views up and trying to again, as Sadomi said, they're not a very agile company. So like you're now having to like go full bore on something, and again, probably hire more people to do that, and a bunch of other stuff that's going to come along with it. So more than likely, they were just like, nope, we should just focus on this thing and do that well and not worry about it.
Right.
Yeah. One more thing too. Just from advertisers' perspective too, you have a different demographic completely.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever ESPN has like sells ad spots for let's say this slot at this time, it's like, hey, so instead of marketing to 34 to 62, you're averaging to 14 to 25.
Mhm.
You're not going to sell Asper cream to a 25-year-old like that often. It's going to be a lot harder. So then calculating what you're going to lose from having to change all that so quickly, they're not going to do it like ASAP. It has to be like a long determined plan.
Right.
And then they have to make sure they're going to get their monies back. Like
Mhm.
again, ESPN's a company first. Like their goal is to make money.
Yeah.
So if they show sports, they're going to show sports that they know, going to get them revenue. That's why you don't see lacrosse as often, only like the major national championship games. That's why you see every freaking baseball highlight in the world.
That's true. Pimz, you got anything on this one?
Yeah, I actually have a couple things.
Yeah.
So they've there's a few of the channels. I think it's actually like ESPN2. They've done collegiate, but it's been typically like Heroes of the Storm, which I'm pretty sure was Blizzard approached them. And those were
Heroes
always
of
like
the Dorm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it was Heroes of the Dorm. And those were almost always late night slots. They were never prime time. They've kind of hedged their bets that esports is some side thing for them. And then so on top of that, they already have their own streaming on their own websites. So I don't know that there's a lot of initiative for them to come to YouTube or Twitch when they have their own infrastructure for their streaming. So from that perspective, I don't see the current kind of pillars of sports broadcasting coming to Twitch for a while. But who knows? Maybe someone's going to go, I hate my job at ESPN, but I want to keep doing this, so I'm going to go start setting up deals to broadcast, CHL on Twitch. Like, not that a lot of people watch the Canadian Hockey League, but they have viewers. There's opportunities for that kind of along the line of the IW, the International Women's Hockey League. Like there are opportunities, but I don't think we're going to see mainstream for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes
And
sense.
also, esports, I think if you're into esports, you generally have access to a computer.
Yes.
And esports just seems more natural to watch on your computer than just like on a TV. I mean, it's cool to watch at a bar. But I saw Rocket League at a bar and
dude.
Oh, it's over. It's over. Listen, I don't care. You could have the finest women all lined up to the side. I don't care what's up there. What's
Blinders
score?
on.
Let me know. We could. It's over. But like, yeah, I think it's just also again demographic too. If you're into esports, generally you know how to watch esports away from your television screen. You watch like either on Twitch, on YouTube. That's it, I think.
Probably for the most part. Yeah. Right. All right. So let's see. That's it for that one. Sorry, just kind of figuring out where we're at here. Real quick, Director Nasty has a question. He says, I started taking YouTube seriously in December of last year and have seen 10 times the views on YouTube than I have on Twitch. What do you think is the biggest reason more streamers are not actively trying to use YouTube to grow?
Because they do the work.
I was gonna say the exact same thing because they're lazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bro, go ahead, bro.
I mean, Yeah, I think that's kind of it. I think it's that they don't want to do the work. I mean, I know, and I'm guilty of this too. So I'm not gonna.
Not talking shit.
Yeah, I do it too, and I know it's a problem. But like a lot of streamers, just they go live, they might do a tweet or something like that, and then they stream, and then they turn it off, and that they call it a day. It's good, right? But like. And we've talked about it before, and like I know that Twitch has made some improvements around discoverability on the platform, like changing up the way you can filter out things you browse and you're recommended and stuff like that, but like there's still no way to just search for something and find it, right? Whereas like if I want to search on YouTube for a tutorial to do something, I can do that, and then there's 100 different videos of how to do that thing, right? You can't do that on Twitch. I can't look up like Diablo 3 build and then like have a VOD pop up, right? Like it's awful. And so, you know, whether it's trying to take the video and your VOD from your stream, download it, edit it up, put it on YouTube, or for that matter, do specific YouTube only content that also mentions like your Twitch stream, that's a lot of extra work, right? So now you're looking at, now you have to stream, and then after that stream, now I need to go and do X, Y, and Z and edit this video together. I need to put that up on YouTube. I need to make sure my YouTube video has a call out like to my Twitch channel. I need to make sure everything in my description for my YouTube video has links back to this, and you know, vice versa, and everything else. Like there's a lot of work that comes with that. I think the ones that do that definitely see like a lot of growth. Like Harris Heller talks about it a lot. In fact, that's pretty much how he has grown his Twitch channel, was a lot of his YouTube videos. Like every YouTube video is like, I stream this these days on this channel, go and watch me, blah blah blah, right? But again, it's a lot of work, and a lot of people, whether it's because they just don't understand it, or like Sadomi said, they're lazy, guilty, you know, it's a lot of work for a lot of people, and some people aren't able to do that or just don't want to. Some people come and start streaming because they think it's like a get rich quick scheme, right? Like, oh, that dude's got like 100,000 viewers, oh, I could be that. Yeah, all he's doing is playing games. Like they're not thinking about all the other stuff that like happens behind the scenes, right? Like all the other platforms that he's doing stuff on, or the fact that he probably even has a team that helps him do that, like his own video editor that also does that stuff. Like there's a bunch of things that like the higher tier streamers have to help them continue to do those things that like I don't, right? They just see kind of what they're doing. They're like, oh yeah, that's awesome, I can do that, this is great, I love Call of Duty, I'm gonna go play that, we're gonna do it. And you know, and then they stream for a couple weeks to like 3 people, and then they're like, all right, this sucks, and then they move on.
Yeah. Pimz?
Yeah.
Robo hit most of the points I was going to make. One thing I do want to say is there's actually a bit of a barrier to entry to making YouTubes for a lot of people. I just said YouTubes. I guess I'm a boomer now. So a lot of people go for like very, very high production value videos early on, when what their best interest is just getting shit out there. Right. Like just you can literally, like when you're starting out, you can take, you know, 10 minutes worth of clips from your stream, smash them all together incoherently, throw them up on YouTube, get 100 views. Right? You have to start there. Like a lot of people don't even start there, right? And then as that kind of catches on, then that's where it really does get complex, and where you get into the higher end editing, and you get into, and Max the Catfish mentioned this, you know, marketing is something a lot of people don't actually do at all. It's something that's very much worth studying as a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer, you know, understanding how to actually build a brand instead of just kind of getting out there and going and doing stuff. Like it's better to just go and do than it is to overthink. That's kind of my philosophy. I say this with like 40 abandoned YouTube videos in my project history, just because I honestly don't have the time most days, because of everything that goes into managing a community and managing a stream, right? So that's that's kind of the reality of it. Like, I'm at a point where I have a career and I'm also streaming and I'm also managing a community. So the editing stuff falls off, but that same energy is going into marketing for myself, right? You know, marketing my community to an extent. Like that's it's give and take. I'm kind of tangenting off into other stuff, but that's I can talk about this for hours. This is a very big topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, as someone in marketing, I market my own stuff awfully. So
Same
Right.
though.
It's a lot of trial and error, though. It's about
Yeah.
figuring out like how people perceive you in the first place.
well, yeah, I mean, it sucks because I know all about, like Sadomi was talking about, like ads targeting, like search engine optimization, keywords, all of that stuff, right? But
Yeah.
like Pimz was saying, a lot of my stuff comes down to, like, I don't have the time. Like,
Yeah.
I have a career, I have a full-time job, I have 2 children. Like, so like when I'm not working, and even I love my wife to death. If I went into the other room and was like, I need to set up a stream schedule and it needs to be this days and these times, she'd be like, great, honey, go do it. Right. But like, I still feel guilty that I'm working 8 hours plus a day. And then I'm like, all right, daddy's got to go play video games now in the other room and stream on Twitch. Can't hang out with you. Have fun. And then, you know, I would definitely probably feel guilty about that. So that's part of my problem. But yeah,
It's understandable for sure.
yeah, marketing is hard, especially when it's your stuff.
Yeah. So Domi,
Oh man, I could deal with the long version or the long version.
I guess we'll go with the long version, not the long version though.
All right.
The long one.
Honestly, just the whole nuances to everything to making a YouTube video and making a successful, proper YouTube video. Mind you, you could make an absolute crap video with a banger first 30 seconds. Then that's fine. But the most important things you have to do, you really have to understand, like, who's going to watch your video? Why are they watching your video? What does that translate to going back to you for? Like, for instance, if I make a tutorial on Microsoft Word and I say, hey, I stream on Twitch. No. Who's going to go to someone's Twitch stream from a Microsoft Word like tutorial? What? No. Also, who's using Microsoft Word? Well, besides, you know, Apple. But yeah, so you know, the more when you go into that, there's so many small things. You have tags, SEO, hashtags, where you put the video, what time you post the video, again, while the video's on your channel, how often your other click-through rates are, your thumbnail, your title, your description, your thumbnail, all of that. And then getting to more of that, I can tell you how important thumbnails are. It is ridiculous. Thumbnails and titles and description. Well, description, I don't know. We'll go on that later. But
it's all important.
Yeah.
It's all very important.
And then also, you have to remember, not everyone streams for the same like commitment level either, too. Like, I'm a very low commitment streamer. I don't do a schedule because I'm starting a business. I'm trying to like build an empire. If I stream, that means cool. I got 3 hours free. Let me do that instead of sleep. Boom. That's what we do. Okay. But some people are like, yo, I want to be full time. This is all I do. I have no kids, no wife, no other commitments. I'm good. I can put in 80 hours a week and only burn out like in 3 weeks. I'm good. So yeah, and like I said, if you have not that much time and you have the funds to do it, reaching out and getting someone to do things for you, if the good, you know, the return on investment is there, then yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. Like, not at all. Save time, save energy, do more things, or just, you know, relax. Easy peasy. And then some people also have better streaming personalities versus recording personalities.
Yeah.
Like me. I'm a good streaming personality. Recording, not so much. I can bounce off of topics, like if I need to. I can go back and forth, I can banter, and depending on, you know, who's around me and what I can do, we can go for hours or we can go for 10 minutes. Depends on what you want to go with that. But some people are just like, you know, I don't really like talking to viewers. And that's fine. I get it. Sometimes Twitch chat's annoying as hell. It's
Yeah. Oh, this guy's back talking about his wife and kids and how terrible. Oh God.
For that one person in chat who's like, let me tell you about Ashley, this absolute. And I'm like,
Let me tell you about my day. I've got problems too, man.
Got 2 hours so I can talk about this real quick. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
like I said,
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I really don't have any desire to put in time to learning how to edit videos. You know what I mean? Like, as much as I think like making a video, like a finished product would be funny. I think I could make a decent video once I learn how to do it. But like, I have no desire to learn how to like put things together in a video format. Like, I'll just wait until I can, ask somebody to help me out with it. Like. But that being said, I'm going to look more heavily into it for sure, because Max the Catfish said that his viewership on Twitch went up 200% because of his YouTube videos that he was making.
Easy.
That's nuts.
Yep.
It's because, and the basic reason for that too is whenever you stream, when you end stream, that stream is now dead. No one's gonna watch that stream again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No one's gonna find that stream, and in 30 days or 60 days, however when the actual time is, it's legitimately actually gone.
Yeah.
Like, I have nothing to show for my first year streaming except for like a pile of clips, pile of 30-second highs that some people may have recorded. And I know some of the best ones I've had have not been clipped because I didn't clip myself, or no, some Jack clipped them. At least with a YouTube video, there's YouTube videos in there for 10 years. 10 years. Tay Zonde has a video. If you remember Tay Zonde, Chocolate Rain, one of the first like big major videos on YouTube, 2006. He just made a new record in 2020. Why did I check what year it was?
Why'd you check your wrist?
It's
It's a year clock.
20. God. Like wonder just on his wrist. Like, looks like the world's about to explode.
listen. I was beta testing the new Tesla wearables. Okay, you can check the time, date, and blood pressure under your wrist.
Got it. I'm sorry, Elon. What? Sadomi, he said you're not supposed to talk about that. He also says we're aliens. What?
Oh man.
What?
We're aliens. There you go, chat. Now you know. Now you know. So Director Nasty, I hope that answered your question for you, man. Chat, if you guys have any questions for us, make sure to at me and TRUgaming in the chat. That way I can see them a little bit better. But yeah, so we love answering your guys' questions. If you guys have anything you need us to help you with your own personal channels, whatever it is, please hit us up. So this next one, I'm gonna let Sadomi take this first for sure. Former WWE wrestler Miro, or Rusev, quits wrestling to stream full time. So his contract ended with the WWE, and he decided to just continue streaming on Twitch. And apparently, he has something around like 5,000 subscribers. Like he's crushing it. He's doing really well. And it actually, to me, it makes a lot of sense that wrestlers would do this, because typically wrestlers have like very large personalities. They're putting on a show every time they go out. And I'm assuming they'd be much happier if they weren't getting, beaten up the entire time. So they probably keep that energy going for a pretty decent amount of time. So I think we'll see a lot more of this in the future with more wrestlers. But Sadomi, what do you got about this, man?
Oh, there's plenty of wrestlers who have YouTube channels and Twitch channels.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest one I know of right now is two. So there's Asuka, who is the current WWE. No, not current, but recently. She's one of the top women in WWE by far. And she has a YouTube channel. I think she has like 200,000 subscribers on it about. And she posts pretty regularly. And with a wrestler schedule, how often they post is, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. But yeah, and then there's also Xavier Woods, who does probably the most content of any wrestler out there by far. He runs his own YouTube channel, Up, Down, Down. I think it has like 1 million subscribers, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's popping.
Yeah.
I think Director Nasty can fact check me. I know he's a wrestling fan too. But definitely wrestlers doing this is not, and even he's brought on many wrestlers from WWE to do content stuff. And even more recently too, with the whole breaking of how everyone kind of knows wrestling is entertainment, and no one really keeps the facade too much that it's like supposed to be a real sporting event. There's like a whole thing of kayfabe, but people who know wrestling, I'm talking about people who don't. Essentially, wrestling, everyone knows it's a performance. Everyone does. The fun part is being like cool. It's a performance, just like a TV. So having those personalities, like I said, then they're great. They have their fame from being wrestlers, from being on TV, from going to shows, and this transfers over to the online market. Where guess what? They do things a lot more freelance. It fits their schedule because the wrestler schedule is absolutely ridiculously hectic. And sorry, Up Down Down has 2.1 million subscribers on their channel.
That's nuts.
Man.
Yeah,
Good for them. That's amazing.
yeah, we'll see more of that in the future. Easy.
Oh,
Easy peasy.
absolutely. Like, because they definitely have, like personalities, like they have to. Like, the only other thing I can think of that's not like a WWE or whatever is Mighty Mouse. Demetrius Johnson, former UFC champ. Now he's fighting in ONE, I think. He obviously it's a little bit different because like he's a fighter and he relies a lot less on his personality. But in WWE or things like that, like it's a lot of personality that they have. So I could definitely see more people doing this in the future. And it's cool to see other people already having been doing this like for a while and doing it very successfully. Robu, what you got, man?
No, I think it's great. I think it totally makes sense. I think Sadomi hit a lot of the things I was intending to say. I used to watch a ton of wrestling, not so much recently. I'm talking like back when like The Rock was in his heyday and called everybody a jabroni, like is around the time that
Good old WWF.
Yep, that was about the time that I was really into it, and like so was my mom, oddly enough, probably because it was like she liked soap operas and it was a giant, I mean, fit dude soap opera. So I think it totally makes sense. I think people coming on to Twitch, like we've already pointed out, that have those big personalities that kind of like know how to be in front of a camera already, is awesome. Plus, again, they have a ton of friends that are also in that industry that they can bring on to do cool content with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like those connections definitely help for sure. I think it's great. I think there's you brought up Mighty Mouse, who I've actually met a couple times because we actually did something with him for a For Honor event way back when For Honor launched. Is somebody coming to steal or arrest someone?
Oh, it's Canada. They're fine.
Somebody dropped a waffle.
It's Tesla coming to like stop our broadcast.
Somebody
They're
forgot
talking
to
about our
apologize.
wearables.
Delete person.
We must delete them. But no, he was great. Like I said, we did a For Honor event way back when For Honor launched. It was him, Jason Momoa, who I got to meet too, the Alfie Allen, who plays Theon Greyjoy, and Lauren Cohen,
wow.
who plays Maggie on The Walking Dead. And it was crazy. And like we saw a huge uptick from just doing that. Especially even when it was just him and like some other streamer that, to be honest, I had never even heard of, were playing together. So we've kind of always seen that the people with those personalities and those audiences do well on the platform. So I think he's going to do well. I think he's going to continue to do well. No, I think it's great, especially given the fact that we're fortunately all dealing with a pandemic right now.
Yep.
So wrestling another guy without a mask and not being 6 feet away is probably not a great look.
Oh, they do it though.
Oh, I know. Unfortunately, I know. Don't worry, we've been tested. But I think it'll be good. I think it's great. And it's just good to also see somebody from that industry doing well, doing something else, right? Because like wrestling is just hard on your body. There are wrestlers that retire pretty quickly because like they're just joints are disintegrating. Like we talked about, I think earlier on, where they don't get like good medical coverage for being a wrestler. Like they have to pay for that out of pocket. And like I think Pimz even mentioned, like I can't even imagine what it would cost to insure a pro wrestler. Right? Like, what do you do for a living? I'm a line cook. Really, you're a very big line cook. It's a big line. So, it's just there's it's just crazy. So like being able to see somebody come and do this and like probably even have better security and not, just beat their body down. Like I did martial arts for several years and my knees are messed up from doing that just because like, whether it was running or jumping or doing stuff like that, that was hard on my knees. So I can only imagine the stuff that they go through, given the fact that like having to jump off the top rope and get spun around and then like sometimes intentionally hurt themselves for the crowd because
Right.
they do other things like cutting themselves and all sorts of other stuff. Like it's crazy the stuff that wrestlers have to do, or maybe not have to do, but do to entertain people. So it's great being able to see them do stuff on Twitch and not have to do any of that and still be secure and maybe even get better money. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, what would you pick between like literally destroying your body multiple times a day every day or sitting in a chair playing video games? You know what I mean? Like...
honestly, maybe because I've been on one side of it, but definitely I understand how being a professional wrestler is exhilarating, how it's fun, how it's
for sure.
Yeah.
So for sure. I'm one of those people who like I like being in front of people. I can't just like help it. I'm an attention hoe. I can't help.
That's true. In a good way, I think.
But yeah, either way, I think both have their benefits. And even there's been wrestling on Twitch too, in case y'all didn't know. Yeah. And I'm not sure how that got past TOS, because they were doing a hardcore type match with barbed wire and baseball. I'm sitting there just like, if it's like a regular match, okay,
right,
but that
on stream, yeah,
that was some backyard like ratchetness. I didn't know what to think.
That's a good question. Twitch,
where are you? We know you're watching. All right. Anybody else got anything on this one?
Last thing I'll say, just random wrestling quip. If anyone ever wants to see how much a wrestler goes through, watch Mia Yim versus Io Shirai and just type ladder match and you will see that it gets brutal real quick, but it's also a very beautiful match altogether. So give it a watch.
Check it out. All right. So the last topic for news that I found was Pokemon's taking a break from streaming for mental health. Which normally, like, you see a lot of streamers do this, but you don't normally see like the top level streamers taking like it's expected that this is going to be about a month of a break. Around September is when she's going to be coming back. But yeah, you don't see like those top level content creators taking months off from streaming just because they're because of mental health issues. Like I've never heard of Tim the Tatman doing that, or Dr. Disrespect, or anybody. You know what I mean? So it's cool to see that that Pokemon is doing this, because I feel like we're going to see this in the future now, because I feel like top level content creators are afraid to take this break. So assuming that it goes well, I think you're going to see a lot more of this, because you can tell with certain content creators that like they could definitely use that break. Like they still like what they're doing, they're still enjoying it, but we could all use a break every once in a while. Starting with Pimz, what do you got on this one, man?
There's a couple things I want to hit on for this. So the first very positive thing is this does set that precedence for streamers as a whole, that you can take a break. You don't have to stream 80 hours a week. You can just like be a human being and not just burn yourself out after 3 weeks, right? It's a very good thing, and I kind of wish that we saw more of this from the top levels. And then so in the tweet, like Pokemon talks about having not taken a break since they graduated high school 6 years ago. Not having a month off, that's brutal. Like I get forced onto, like at work, I get forced onto vacation if I don't take one in like a year, right? And I'm a software developer. My job is not demanding. Like I drink coffee, I type words. That's why I'm not good at speaking them. That's why I say stuff like YouTubes. Like it's I kind of wish that there was more push from communities for people to take these breaks. Especially like this year's kind of like apocalypse, like it's apocalypse o'clock right now. Like that's the year we're in. So it's good to be taking these breaks, right? And then you know the kind of the dark side of this is there's mention of an incident with Keemstar. And I'm not going to go too deep into this one because this is a topic that gets me very heated. You know, there's speculation in the article that people kind of have been hating on Pokemon for no real reason. And that's just a bad example to be setting as creators, because we're dehumanizing streamers and YouTubers.
Right.
We're forgetting that, hey, that's a person that you're watching. You know, that's not a computer in a meat suit. Though some people probably will argue that, but we'll leave Elon out of this.
All
What's
right.
that? What's that?
Delete him. Got it.
No, snipers stand down.
Oh my god.
At least until the show's over.
The show's over. Sadomi, what do you got on this one, man?
So creators generally, now here's the thing about Twitch streaming that sucks. If you're doing it as a career, it's something you have to be live for, you have to be there for, you have to kind of be around for. If you're doing other kinds of content, more static content, you have a lot more leeway. Like if you're making YouTube videos more like solely, you can backstock videos. Sure, you have to work like doubly hard to get those out, but when you do, you get them out, and then schedule them out. You're done. Depending on what you do, some people can't do it. Like you a news channel, you can't really backstock news, So yeah, and it's and if you're like an American, taking vacations already just like a pain in the butt. I know in Canada they respect you up there, so it's different. But whenever a creator wants to take a break, it's almost directly affects their income as well.
Yeah.
So for a creator that's not like Shroud level, Poke level, or like up there, where taking a break won't mean like a missed meal or missed like rent payment. That's like a really big fear for a lot of people. And if you're smaller, taking a break when you just get that traction could kill that traction. Then you just feel like you have to start over again. It's really demoralizing. Taking a break is so de-incentivized for every single possible like reason. That's why you don't see creators take breaks. You see them burn out until they make a crying video on YouTube like, I have to stop. And then it's just bad. I do personally think that being a solo creator is probably the worst thing you can do for your mental health, just because there's so much stress to do for like going into it. And especially if you rely on that for your livelihood, there's so many factors that can jeopardize that. For instance, all you gotta do is accidentally stand up, and maybe someone just doesn't like you, and they could raid your community with hate stuff and get you banned off Twitch, and then boom. Have fun applying for another job while you wait for your channel to get unbanned. Like it's just so much volatility. It's scary. And I wish all these creators the best for take a break, and I wish people did. But you can normalize as much as you want until it doesn't affect someone's bottom line or their livelihood, then you won't see creators take breaks like as often.
Yeah. Who wants next on this one? Or is it? Wait, I think it's just Robu.
I think it's just Robu.
Yeah, it's just Robu. Sorry, my brain doesn't work today. It's all good.
Two brains.
It's okay, man. No, I think it's great that she's doing it. I think it's important to take breaks. I definitely understand why a lot of people don't, because like Sadomi said, it does affect their income, right? She's at just a level where she's got enough money that she's able to do that. I wish more people did, so they could, prioritize their mental health. But regardless of that, I think it's very important that people do what they can to do that. I mean, I know myself, with everything going on, it's very hard to kind of see the stuff that's happening in the news and then also think like streaming or anything else that I'm really working on at any given time is all that important, right? And so it's very easy for me to think about, like, maybe I should be spending more time with my family. Maybe I should be doing these other things, right? And not necessarily things that are going to pay my bills. But it's kind of hard to get in that mindset for me sometimes, whereas like maybe I should take a break, right? Like maybe I don't need to work as hard as I do, stuff like that. And I mean, when you're a streamer at that level that streams to thousands of people, it's exhausting. I can be energetic when I need to be, but typically I'm pretty subdued. I'm not like all over the place screaming like high energy and whatnot, but like I do have to step it up whenever like we do like the Twitch Prime show, right? Because Zach, our host, is ridiculous and high energy and screams a lot, and like if I don't bring it up, I look like a dead fish next to him. And after that, like half hour, 45 minutes of just doing that, I am exhausted. I am dead, right? So I can only imagine being somebody on that level, streaming to thousands of people at a time and doing it day in, day out for who knows how long, right? Like I personally, I couldn't do it. Like I would go insane. But I hate to say that, like, I don't even think that it's that people don't prioritize their mental health. I think a lot of people realize it's important. I think just a lot of people just aren't able to financially, right? Like that's the problem. Again, kind of going back to what Sadomi said, like a lot of people can't take breaks because all of a sudden I took a break and then I lost this many subscribers and now I don't know how I'm going to make that money up to pay my rent, right? And especially right now with a lot of people that aren't fortunate enough to, have jobs, right? Because their jobs was in an industry that is currently locked down, right? Or they got laid off entirely. It's hard. But I definitely, I'm glad she's recognizing that she needs to. I just wish that was more of an option for other people.
Yeah. I remember I had to take like a 2-month break to take care of some things. And I remember like after a month of the break, I realized like I was in a space where like I wasn't worried about all these other things that you worry about as a Twitch streamer. It was really like relaxing. You know what I mean? Like I didn't wake up instantly feel like I had to look at Twitter or whatever. Like I could just, I didn't feel any pressure to post on Twitter or anything. I was just like living like a normal life, and it was just weird to kind of go back to that for a second. And I can say when I went back, because I made a connection with my community, they were more than welcoming, for me to come back, and they were like super happy about it. I think I actually had more viewers when I got back than what I did when I left, which was crazy to me. Like I didn't think that would like I figured I wouldn't lose too many viewers. I knew I was going to lose some, but I was totally wrong. It was the exact opposite of that, and it was really really crazy. And so I will say, like, as long as you communicate with your people, and as long as you make that connection with them, it's where like I know like Robu has said before that like my stream is part of like a morning routine for him. If you can like be that, and if you can like make a connection with those people, and show them like the real reason why you want to take a break or why you're being forced to take a break, whatever it is, they're gonna understand and they're gonna be back. And like ultimately, like if someone didn't want me to take, like if someone doesn't return to my stream just because I took a break, I probably don't want them there anyway. You know what I mean? Because that's not a community member. They're there for whatever their own reason is. Because Dybear was saying, what was it? Have your viewers bonded with you? Why or why not? If so, they will be there when you get back, and they will be supportive of your break. That is 100% true. So it's a lot about work, like just making sure that you're making connections with your community. It's very, very important. I don't know if anybody else has anything on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, do it up.
Pimz, you can go first.
Read the book Tribes. It's a very, very short, very simple marketing book that talks about, building a micro culture. Like it talks about exactly what we do on Twitch from a perspective that was kind of enlightening for me, and that kind of thing. And it ties into There was a question from Max of Fish about this. You know, you can build something that lasts when you're not streaming. That's probably the best way to mitigate this kind of thing. There's all kinds of ways to handle this, but as small creators, it is still very difficult to get started on that. But that's all I had to add. Robbie, if you wanna.
I just bought that with my audio
Yeah.
Audible credit, by the way.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be getting that for sure.
Not like I literally just did. You mentioned it.
Don't
and
yell
I
at
brought
me.
up my page, and then I clicked on it. It wasn't like, oh, I just happened to actually buy that.
I think it's like a 4-hour listen. Like it's yeah.
You've converted. No, going back to Diebear's comment about just like bonding with your community. It's funny, and I'm gonna get a little personal for a moment, but like, so Vel and I met through TRUgaming, and I was at TwitchCon because I had to be, because that's my job. And I was walking through and I heard, yo, Robu. And there's like 18 people that know that name. So I'm like, the fuck? Like, and Vel was standing in line, waiting to meet Tim the Tap Man, as you do.
Yep.
And we just got to chatting. And so like after that, him and I kind of just talked a little bit more, you know, whether it was in a stream or through TRUgaming or whatever. And then when things started happening with your dad, is another time where I think you and I really started talking more, because for those of you that don't know, I had a similar situation with my mother, who ended up getting stage 4 cancer and getting diagnosed, unfortunately, too late, and passed away shortly after. And so like him and I had many conversations around, you know, just like feelings he was going through, things that I had dealt with, things that, you know, I had thought about when I was in that same situation. And, you know, again, like he said, I'm in his stream like daily. It's like just part of my routine now. Like I know what his schedule is because he has a consistent schedule, thank God, for the most part. And so like that's just like I get my coffee, I start working, I put his stream on, and like I just sit in his chat and talk, you know, whoever's there, while I'm doing work, and just kind of lurk at the same time. And you know, it's been awesome. But I guess that's kind of one of those situations where I was a viewer that bonded with him. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. That just proves my point, though. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, that proves the point that we're all making. That explaining to your people why you're taking a break is important, because I very easily, much easier than telling my community. I very easily could have just been like, I have some things going on in my life and I need to take care of them. And they would have, like, people like Robu would have understood for sure. Everybody understands. But like when you give them the reason, and like you're not like, and you don't want to give them the reason and be like, hey, like, by the way, like you guys should give me more attention. I have this reason, like I have this going on in my life. Like if you're just honest, genuine, and being yourself about it, you just express to them like why these things are bothering you and the reason why you should take that break. They're gonna understand, like Robu did, and like you're gonna connect with more people because of the hardship that you're going through, just like me and Robu did with the issues that we've gone through in our lives. And because of that, like that's more than just than a Twitch viewer at that point. You know what I mean? Like that's like when you share something like that, like that's a crazy weird connection. And it's very important to share what you're going through if you feel comfortable doing so. Don't ever force yourself to do it, but I will say that if you feel somewhat comfortable with doing it, it's worth doing for sure. It's really hard, it's very uncomfortable, but it's worth. I don't know if anybody else has anything on this one.
If you want to make good friends, make them chili.
I made Pimz chili. Pimz actually stayed in my apartment for like a week.
Yeah.
I made him chili once. Yeah, that's the only time I fed him. But it was really good chili.
You get this one bowl of chili, you need to ration it over the next 7 days. You get 2 spoonfuls a day.
Ration it. Oh my god. But it like building connections with your people is important. It really, really is. Diber says, I've shared everything on my stream, cried, showed anger, celebrated. People love that. People connect to that. Yeah, if like you're humanizing yourself and you're showing them that you're not just a personality, you're a person. and like that's really important for I mean just for community in general. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, my brain's kind of racked right now. Let's see. Okay, so we have a question from, I think it was Max the Catfish. Says, are there ways you can empower your community? Oh yeah, I think you just touched on this, Pimz, didn't you?
It just touched. I think it probably still deserves some conversation.
Okay, I got you. Are there ways you can empower your community / mods to engage your community while you're away? I dread the idea of watching Twitter / Discord while trying to disconnect while camping or relaxing. I definitely get that to a point. I would suggest just showing them a little bit of what's going on if you feel comfortable with it. Like I took like a picture of my tent and I tweeted a couple times while I was gone. Just kind of give them a little bit of a look as to what was going on. But we'll start with Sadomi here. What do you think, man? Ways you can empower your community / mods to engage with themselves basically while you're away. I'll be right back.
So I'll be honest, you kind of, and this is everyone who's been a manager for any kind of like group of people will understand. You have some people who are more natural like sub leaders, and some people who are more natural like followers. Essentially, the people who you can reach out to, be like, hey, say that person at the party who you invited to the party, like, listen, you're good at talking to everyone else in the room, so that's why I invite you. You can drink whatever you want. You get your sandwich, get some Subway before and after. Just show up, and they're like, okay, and they show up. They get Group A with Group B to talk to Group C, and Group C starts hanging out with Group A more, and that person filled that role. So I say identify someone in your community or these groups of people who are just more natural at starting like conversations, engaging with other people, and we're generally friendly too. And also, if you're starting a good community, generally you have something in common. So hosting events where you aren't the main focus, but generally everyone else is mingling, is a good way to get started with that as well too. And I think pretty much any leadership book you read will tell you how to kind of get people together to get things started. So I think, try with that. And worst comes to worst, 9 out of 10, most people in here enjoy video games. a good game night, then hey, I gotta go to the bathroom. Just never come back, and you're good.
Oh my god. All right. Pimz, you said you touched on this a little bit. Did you want to go in a little bit deeper?
Yeah, there's a lot of. So this is something I've been deep diving on. This is why I have marketing books that I'm immediately recommending. Sadomi mentioned leadership books, but one of the most fundamental things you can do to keep people around when you're not around is build your community around something other than yourself. Right? Like it's very easy as a streamer to be like, this is my community. It's all about how awesome I am. That doesn't stick. No. Like there's a reason that 90% of people pay attention to Apple ads, because very simply when they started putting out ads, they gave you something that made your life better. So to put this into perspective from my angle and talk about how awesome I am, I built a community from Twitch, and originally it was very much about me, and it was kind of and if I wasn't around, not a lot of people were around. But then we started converting that into a Destiny 2 clan, and we have several Rainbow Six Siege squads that operate out of my Discord. That has driven up the population and the activity of the server. Simple things like, if you play a game that's multiplayer based, make sure there's some way for people in your Discord to connect and to build tribes. That's why the book is called Tribes. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to facilitate that, and picking your leaders is important. There are several people in my community, and they're in chat right now because they're very engaged. They're very the community is important to them, and they want to see it thrive. You need to enable those people, and not just pick someone because they're a very good manager. You want someone who is that frontline leader. You can read for years on this stuff, and these are kind of the common points that I've seen, and it sounds like Sadomi, you've seen the same kind of similar stuff. Similar. You've seen these topics come up, and you'll see them a lot. And I think that's something that a lot of streamers can learn and leverage very, very easily. It's the same thing with diversifying content, right? You know, having content that persists when you're not live, huge for you. Helps keep people like, I have people that go back and watch videos from like last year.
Yeah. One of my most popular videos is a Mugen video from 2009.
There you go. Robu, what do you got on this one, man?
I mean, I feel like I don't have anything real good to share after all that, because I think they both hit everything. No, it's all good.
Pick you first next time. Got it.
No, that was awesome. I definitely think it is, like Pim said, it's very important to make your community more than just yourself, right? Like, oh, I'm the streamer, this is my thing. So before I started doing game streams, I did a lot of game dev streams. And at first it was more like me in the game that I was building on Twitch, right? And that was the community. And as it kind of grew and it became less about the game and less about me and more about just game dev in general, cool things that were happening in game dev, new engine updates or new just engines being released, stuff like that. Once it became more about that, the community really started to take off. And you know, looking back on it, I'm a little sad that I don't do the game dev streams anymore. But once I started making, again, the community about more than just me, it did really well. And like Sadomi said, there's also people that were in that community that were kind of standouts. Like they were always, you know, engaging in something, asking questions, talking about stuff. And then there's other people that only really talked when they were like asked a question, right? They weren't ones to really initiate conversation. So also thinking about, you know, like the people that you mod, the people that you make kind of the leaders in your community is also important, right? Don't just toss swords at people. Like, oh, you've been in here for 3 days in a row. Here's your sword. You know, like I've definitely, I know people that do that. You know, definitely be selective about people you mod and make the faces of your community in a way. Yeah, that's all I've got really.
3 days in a row is it's a good, you know, it's a good amount of time for trusting someone to be a mod in your channel.
Oh, 3 days, 3 whole days.
Yeah, right.
That's wild.
Nuts. All right, so all right, so I hope that answered your question for you. I think that was Max the Catfish. Chat, we have about another half hour left of this show, so if you have any questions, make sure to get them in the chat. Make sure to at myself, Velokk_TV, and TRUgaming if you could. TRUgaming, obviously. If you guys are here, you know. But so I think that's all the time. Oh no, we had one more topic. That's right. We had Ven. It's this new like gaming and pop culture kind of like news show of some sort. I haven't really seen too much of it yet. But it seemed really cool. It looked like what ESPN would be if it was by nerds for nerds, basically, is like the vibe that I got for it, which is pretty cool. I don't know, Roby, you said you kind of looked into it a little bit.
Yeah,
a little, obviously didn't have very much time. This is like a very last minute topic that I threw in there.
So to be honest, like I'm actually really interested in Ven.
Yeah,
and I'm old enough that I watched G4 and like I used to watch G4 all day. And if anybody that has ever watched G4 knows G4, they used to repeat several of the shows multiple times a day because like they didn't have like the content to fill all the slots. So I'm interested in how this is going to work from that aspect. But like I just going to their site, like it's easy to navigate. I clicked on schedule and then I was like, oh, I wonder what happened if I clicked on this show title. Oh, it takes me to the episode and I can just watch it, right? Like being able to like have essentially G4 at my fingertips, but then pick and choose what I actually want to watch is really cool. The production quality, like I've watched a few of the actual live streams on Twitch, looks really good. And they're streaming to a bunch of different platforms, but then they also have it like essentially curated on their own site to make it much easier to like find things. So it kind of helps them get around the whole discoverability issue on Twitch. So if you really want to focus on watching like Ven shows, like maybe you have a couple that you watch on Twitch that you're really into, and like you have other things going on and you miss a show, you can literally just pop up their website and go find the episode and click on it and watch it, right? I think it's really, really cool. I think it has a lot of potential if they do it well, and like the ones that I have watched look really cool. And to be totally transparent, there is something that one of the Twitch Prime adjacent teams has been doing on their own channel that is very similar to this. But I think this does it still in a different way that's really, really cool and actually comes off as authentic. It doesn't feel like some VC talk to some, Silicon Valley dude in a suit that was like, this pandemic thing is happening, we should do stuff in games on Twitch, and then like some people that don't understand gaming put it together. This feels like authentic and actually done by people that understand the space, right? Which is good. But I'm excited to see where it goes, to be honest. Like I've kind of wanted this for a while, and I've seen other live shows on Twitch that did something similar but didn't execute it as well, I guess.
Yeah.
It's obvious like they have their own studio, their own production behind it. Like there's a lot of money behind this. And I'm just excited to see where it goes. I'm also excited to see kind of what spawns from that, especially if it starts to do well, right? So yeah, I think it's great. I'm also glad to see that they definitely focused on, trying to include women and just making their cast like really diverse. Like I hate watching a bunch of gaming shows that's like, here's a bunch of white people. As a white person. And I hate to say it, but that's like
That's a white person? No way, dude.
as a white person. But like that's what G4 was for a while, right? It was like Morgan Webb and Adam Carolla.
Sessler.
Adam Sessler.
He blocks me on Twitter, by the way. That's the thing.
Adam Sessler?
Yeah.
What'd you
He blocked
do?
me. He kind of went off on a crazy tangent on people. I think he actually has like I don't think he's doing very well mentally right now. And I kind of called him out on it. I was like, hey, you're kind of being rude to everybody on Twitter right now. Like, I really liked you in, in your show back in the day. And then he's just like, no, I'm not reading that. You're blocked. So
Later.
yeah. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, no, like it was just, it was a bunch of white guys or a bunch of white girls and a guy. Like, okay, cool. Like, but I'm definitely glad to see that was also a priority of theirs. I think it'll be good. I'm excited to see what happens in some of the episodes that they have coming up that actually haven't aired yet. I'm actually like putting on my calendar so I can make sure I either watch them live or I just go back and view them. But it's definitely probably going to be something like when the normal people that I watch on Twitch aren't live or have a day off or whatever. It's like, all right, this is the thing I'm watching.
Yeah. It definitely looks really cool. I'm very excited, and it sounds like you're kind of simping over it, so that's
a little bit,
fine, I guess. But did you guys get a chance to look at Ven at all yet, or not really? I totally understand if you didn't get a second to look at it because it was very last minute, and I didn't find it until like basically we were about to start.
I looked into it a little bit, but I haven't like really explored it too much. I did hear that they were bringing back G4, and I've been kind of like looking at that. It's kind of reminiscing. I think I watched like how many? About like 10 episodes of X-Play and like Code Monkeys. Mind you, in like 240p, like 1.25 speed on YouTube, because yeah. But yeah, man, it was a good times back then. But yeah, anyway, I wonder if Ven's gonna do well. Hope it does well, because I like gaming content, and the way X-Play and the way G4 TV was designed back in the day was heaven. And I don't think YouTube, even to this day, really fills that same niche yet either.
Yep.
I'm chuckling a little bit, having talked about the reruns on G4, because looking at the schedule for Ven, a really well designed website, by the way, like very, very easy to use. When you look at the schedule, all of the new episodes are colored in. but the majority of the schedule right now is also just the uncolored one. So it's like, oh look, reruns. This feels like G4.
Yeah. They're definitely trying to be a 24/7 like news network, and I mean, like you got to start somewhere. It's cool that they're trying, and I think it's gonna do really well. Especially like, I think it needs more popularity for it to start, really blowing up. They probably don't have necessarily all the funds to do constant new things, but really exciting stuff. It's cool this is finally happening because we've been missing G4 for a while.
I'm curious to see how the cable format works out on a website, like on an online platform. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did catch a clip of one of their streams where they got rated in the middle of their show, and they actually acknowledged it and like thanked the person who rated them. Like, so that's kind of cool. Like they still they know that it's a Twitch stream or whatever, whatever website you're watching it on. You could even watch it on their website. But it's cool that that's a thing. Like they still acknowledge that, like, hey, this is live and there's a chat and people come in here and raid and stuff like that. Like that's dope.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm my bad, dude.
No, that's it. It's
all right.
There's go ahead.
No. I was just. You good?
I'm gonna shut up.
Fight him, Pimz, fight him.
You
Drop
can
the gloves right
actually
now.
hit me. It's cool.
I can't. Yeah, it's all the padding.
Is that a fat joke?
You said hit you.
Oh my god. All right, so I don't know if we have any more questions right now, so I'll just ask you guys a few things just about like random like Twitch things, I guess. What is one thing you guys wish you would have known when you started streaming? So we'll start with Pimz here. So like something that
Everything.
Everything? All right, go ahead, dude.
Honestly, the biggest thing is just understanding like how to actually promote myself would have been great, because I've been doing this for like 5 years and most of my growth happened in the last 2 to 3. But so that first 2 years basically was nothing, because I was like, I'm just gonna go stream and I'm sure people will watch and I'll get famous.
Yep.
Okay. Sadomi, how about you, man?
Vince, I hate
Vince,
you, but I love you.
Vince, you're fired. You're fired, Vince.
Anyway, the one thing I wish I knew when I first started streaming versus I think Pimz put it perfectly. Just everything. And here's why I mean everything. There's so many nuances. There's so many just like small things that I've just picked up. Like for instance, I just learned like 2 years ago what lighting was. I thought lighting was turn on the brightest light in the house and hope it reaches. Like I learned what a tripod is. If I showed you my camera setup, you'd be like, "What the heck?" Actually, I'll show you.
Yeah.
You can look. It's my cell phone. Ignore the dirty house. My cell phone is my tripod with my ring light plus my fill light off to the back. And I hate this lighting right now. But before, back in the day, oh nope, and I'm looking ugly for the rest of the show. Anyway. All right. Anyway.
That angle, dude.
Yeah. Having a good camera placement, good lighting, everything just makes you feel so much more confident. Yeah. And like once you kind of, and also just like planning everything out. Like I when I started planning my streams out, I had so much more fun. It was much more efficient, got more done, and it didn't go on too long, you know. Because you said one thing, I'm doing listen like 27 things. But you know what?
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, do it up, dude.
Just not streaming longer than you have to, or just not streaming all day. Oh my god, I streamed Rocket League for 8 hours a day back in 2017, and I don't know how I'm sane. I'm not sane. You look at me. Do I look like the same person to you? No, I'm not. I blame those days of Rocket League. No. Sorry.
You're just doing two things? I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were just gonna keep going. If you need to cool off, that's cool.
I need to cool off. I'm getting hot. These lights are burning my retinas.
I got you. Robu, what's one or maybe a couple things that you wish you would have known when you started streaming?
Streaming an overly popular game might not be the best best route for getting views. Yeah, there's probably people wanting to watch you play Overwatch when it first came out, but you're going to be probably at the bottom of the directory unless you can get some friends in your channel. So that was a big one. And just like how much damn work it is, right? Like we talked about it before, right? Like if you really want to grow your channel, it's not just like turning your stream on and streaming and then calling it a day, right? There's a lot of other stuff that should be happening behind the scenes if you really want to grow. That was just something I definitely didn't really get at first. Like I totally, and this goes back to, you know, before I was ever on the Twitch Prime team at all, where like I kind of felt guilty. I fell into the whole, I guess the thing that I brought up earlier with like, oh, I could just probably stream games. We'll just take off and it'll be dope. I'll be playing games and I'm gonna be great. And that's just not the case, right? Like unless you're like a pro player and people want to watch you play at a pro level, you're probably going to struggle a little bit, and there's probably going to need to be work that needs to be done to actually grow your channel. And I definitely learned that pretty quickly, but at the time going into it, that was just something I didn't even think about, right? I didn't know about the discoverability issues on Twitch. I didn't understand lighting, kind of like I like Sadomi was talking about. I had like an LED string light like around my desk, like to try to like illuminate me a little bit, but like it was just terrible. I bought like an industrial lamp, like that you would use in like a garage, which is just like will overexpose the crap out of you. Like it was just, you know, and like I'm white, right? So like I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost. Like I look like, you know, a scene with like Patrick Swayze about to go up to heaven with like the rays behind him, whereas like all you see is this silhouette. Like I look like that. Like it was terrible, right? And then you know how important it is to just interact with your chat. Like I made a joke about it earlier, but like my first streams were just me like staring at the screen, not even saying anything, right? Like that's kind of something I've gotten used to now. Like when I don't have like just a chat that's popping off, like I'll just talk to myself or like talk about things that I'm doing or why I'm doing it, right? But like I didn't do any of that. It was just like me typing. It was like the most boring crap ever. Yeah.
How did you not pop off? You know, I definitely understand that part of, you know, just gaming and like it just seeming like you're just sitting there staring at your desk or staring at your monitor. For me, one thing that I learned kind of more recently is that like having fun and like visibly having fun are two totally different things for Twitch viewers. Yeah. Like I remember I would stream CS:GO and people would be like, "You don't look like you're having fun," and I'd be having a blast, but I'm so focused and just plain faced because I'm absolutely focused on the game that like they don't see the fun that I'm having because they're not in my head. They don't know what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of talking for sure, and then actually like smiling while you're on camera is huge. You know what I mean? Like if you're smiling, you're energetic, you're happy, and you're laughing at things and having a good time, then other people are going to be doing the same thing. But if all that your content is you talking every once in a while in gaming, you're not really putting on a show. I'm not saying you need to be fake by any means, but like you do need to kind of step it up a little bit for the people watching. And so for me, the thing I really wish I would have known is to visibly be having fun, like show that, you know, this is a lighthearted stream. We have fun here and we laugh, we talk shit, do whatever we got to do. It's made a huge difference, is, you know, in chat interaction as well. So that's what I would say would help me with that. So Vel, hopefully we all answer your question for you. Thanks for asking another question. Let's see. Okay, so this question that I have brings one specific thing to my brain, but I want to see what you guys think. What are some tips that you remember hearing when you started streaming but don't actually work? I'm assuming it's going to be generally the same, but it might not be, and I'm interested. So Pimz, we'll let you start because you're already busting up.
Just
he's like, there's a billion things.
So
where do you want me to
things.
start? Yep.
You know, the biggest offender for me is follow for follow. Like,
that's a good one.
Following other people will get them to look at your stuff. I tend to just like swipe that notification away personally, and from my experience, that's what most people do. Joining a streaming community can be very rough, right? Like that's another one where it's like, oh, people are. There are some very fake people on this network or on this platform, and there are places that they all gather, and it gets rough. But yeah, those are. I know we said one thing, but that's kind of two things that like I kind of regret doing at one point. Because they're I've had some experiences. I won't mention any specifics, but
yeah, I got you.
There are some wild people out there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Sadomi?
People may not think of this one, but song request.
Good or
That's
bad?
a big one. Well, here's why it's bad. You ready? And I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but I don't think you should give like control of your stream to like randos.
Mm-mm.
You know? I mean, sure, they can influence things, but not like control anything. Like if you have like a set playlist and like you really don't care what's playing at that moment because it's just like a weight screen or whatever, then yeah, sure. But I don't know, man. If I could go back, I have a lot of clips with just the most dog shit like sounds playing. Like someone's got muted because they're playing the most garbage like gangster rap, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then you take it away and they're like, oh, where's my song request? I'm like, you don't even pay me. Shut the hell up.
That's a good one for sure. Because you really are giving up control of your channel when you do that.
Yeah, like I get it's because people want interactivity and they want to seem like it's cool, or maybe they want to share music tastes, but that's what like a Discord channel is for. And also you can't do that because you generally won't own the music that people request, and also that's illegal. Not just because Twitch will take you down; it's actually against the legal law, the kind that will arrest and make you pay your ass until So don't do that. And also, your viewers don't understand copyright law. No one does.
That's true.
So they don't care. They'll be like, where's my music? I want you to listen to my little X2.3 dot rhyme X4Z. You're a bad streamer.
Yeah, that's facts though. Robu, what do you got, man?
You need to be streaming 8-9+ hours a day every day.
Yeah.
On the channel, like, which is just absolutely false. Like Sadomi said earlier, like once your stream ends, it's pretty much gone. Like nobody's probably going to go in your VODs and try to find stuff, right? Like at most maybe 3-4 days a week if you have the time, not necessarily 8 hours a day, 4 hours a day maybe, and then spend the rest of your time again doing other things to benefit other platforms to make your stream more discoverable. Like I was told several times by multiple different people, like, oh, you don't stream enough. Like I stream 5 days a week, 9 hours a day. Like you're gonna get blood clots because you don't stay. That is terrible. I was like, you don't understand what you're doing to your body. But like that's definitely not what you need to be doing. You need to still stream. Definitely having a consistent schedule helps. When I had a consistent schedule and I was doing game dev, it was pretty often that I would the stream wouldn't even start yet. I hadn't even started like a starting soon screen or anything like that, and I had like 15 people just in my chat right before stream started because they knew that I was going to be starting, and they were just like talking amongst themselves, right? Yeah, don't stream all the time and only stream. Stream enough to grow your community, interact with them, make some cool content, and dedicate some time other places.
Yeah, that was actually the one that I was thinking of. Is always be live was like kind of like the motto. It's stupid. It's so stupid. You're gonna burn out like immediately if that's what you. Yeah, hard like for a while. Like it's gonna suck. Like always be live is like the dumbest piece of advice I think I've ever gotten on Twitch. Another one that kind of Sadomi reminded me of is keeping ownership of your content on your stream is super important. I used to always hear you should definitely 100% play with viewers all the time.
Nope.
And I am going to get a lot of shit for this, but I do not like playing with viewers on stream because you never know what that person's going to be like. You never know what their attitude is going to be that day. You never know how much they're going to talk, what they're going to talk about, if they're a good teammate, if you even mesh well together. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that I'm totally fine with playing video games with people off stream. I have sub nights that I do as well. But like on stream, I like to control the pace that I talk with chat. I like to control the conversations that we have. And I also like to make sure that my teammates are people that I've played with before. So I know there's a good kind of mesh with everybody. So I really do not like playing with viewers anymore. I used to do it all the time. And it used to just make me mad because you get that one that wants to like take every bit of loot that's there, or they're talking the entire time, asking questions to us when I'm just trying to talk to chat, you know? There's so many bad things that come along with that. And like, I know a lot of people will be like, but we want to play video games with you. And I get that, but off stream, because my time on channel is like important to me for being able to control the content and its pace.
Oh, let me tell you a quick story.
Yeah, all right,
So
I'm ready.
Back when I played Fortnite on stream, okay?
Ooh.
Why did I? Honestly, I was vibing. It was fun. Okay, it was fun. It was a good time. But there's one day I tried to be nice, okay? Because I'm all about forgiveness. I'm all about second chances. This hit came into chat. The first 4 letters of his name began with KNEE. I told him, get on your main account, you can come hang out, but that's not acceptable here. So I banned him. Then he came back, and I was like, okay, cool, fine. I'm just telling him, hey, that wasn't cool. That's really offensive. It hurt my feelings. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, cool, no problem. So then fast forward 2-3 weeks. He's like, hey, can I play with you for a game? And then, you know what? I'm vibing. I'm chilling. I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? It's not too busy of a day. We're hanging out. We're hanging out. Bring dudes on stream. Mind you, I swear, kid was like 13 and 1 day old. Okay, so I'm just playing, being my chill, responsible Sadomi self, not as vulgar as I usually am. And then I asked him about the situation because I was curious. I was like, so why'd you make that username? And he was like, I thought it was funny. And I was like, why'd you think it was funny? And he was like, because you're a.
Oh my
God. Then I'm like, well, all right. I am never playing this game, and I am never letting a viewer come on stream ever again. Hate these people. I hate Twitch. Everyone in Twitch chat, I hate you. Not you guys. Not you. You guys are cool. Most of you. I'm sure there's like 2 lurkers in here that I hate. And I'm pretty sure y'all are garbage, but most of y'all are cool. 70% of y'all are cool.
That's true though, and like that's definitely like you definitely have it way worse with that because like that's not something that I have to deal with, obviously. No. You know what I mean? But like that it sucks because you're risking your content that day. You're risking the entire stream, your entire mentality towards the stream. It can go south so fast, and just like that, it did. You know. But yeah, that's I think we actually have a question from Righteous Ranger that I want to get to really quick because we're about to be wrapping it up after this one. What is the best way to start to get yourself talking if you don't have a lot of viewers talking in chat? Who wants to take this first? Pimz, there you go, man. Do it up.
So either read some news before you start streaming and talk about that, or narrate what your thought process is when you're playing a game. That second one is the simplest way to start just talking. Just it's why when like I say stupid stuff, I immediately call it out on call myself out on it because that's my thought process. When I'm speaking, you're just getting like stream of consciousness. Mm-hmm. It's a practice skill. It's something that as soon as these lights come on, my brain just like goes into that mode. Mm-hmm. So like when I'm playing Siege on my channel, I talk through my decisions. Maybe not right away, but you know, you talk about why you did things because that does a lot of things. It gets you talking, first off, and second off, like you're providing value to people by explaining your thought process, especially if like you talk about why it was a good or bad play. I talk about a lot of bad plays because I do some really dumb stuff. Like but you know, if you don't do the dumb stuff, you're not gonna learn and you're not gonna create content. Because my God, some of the dumb stuff is hilarious when it works. You know, those would be like kind of my two key things. Like, people are going to want to talk about the game that they're watching and current events. There's obviously there are some things that you maybe don't want to talk about on stream as far as current events go. So pick and choose very carefully, especially like knowing your audience, because you know your audience and who you want to stream to better than anyone else.
There you go. Thanks, Pimz. Sadomi.
So Pimz hit it nail on the head. In fact, what I do is every weekday morning, I post a newsletter in my Discord where I write a small blurb of either how I'm feeling about something that day, like a current event, or just a major news story. Like this morning, I did Pikmin 3 because I didn't hear about the Pikmin 3 news till this morning because Nintendo doesn't like to do, you know, drops. Doesn't like to announce games anymore, apparently. Just be like, hey, so it's happening on Twitter. And I was like, cool. And then also in the side blurb, I talked about because I didn't really want to talk about it too much because there's been a lot of negative like stuff happening, and I don't want to keep flooding. Like I've written 2 obituaries from a newsletter already. I don't want to write like another darker like one already this close. So I kind of put in the sidebar about the explosion that happened over in Meru, I think it was. Yeah. So again, that's me saying, listen, I'm okay talking about it. I'm okay with being there, but I don't want to make it the focus today. Granted, it's a horrible event and it should be the focus, but I know for a fact, community-wise and like me personally-wise, like I'm dealing with some shit already. I don't want to have to go through that right now. Again, go through all the like negatives of that. So put some good news out there and also more current events. So this way on stream tonight, when I stream at 8 p.m., we can talk about, you know, what's going on there with that. Like I said, kind of being prepared with news is my favorite way of doing it. Narrating what you're talking about. Like I said, Pim said it perfectly. I don't got to repeat that. And also, super secret trick. Pretend like you don't know something obvious. It pisses people off.
Hell yeah.
And like people really don't know that you're joking.
Yep.
That was good. I like that one a lot because like the people that like watch you all the time, they'll know that you're joking and they'll get a kick out of it. But you'll piss off that rando that day, and like they'll just lose their mind, and your chat will love it. That's a really really good one. Robu, what do you got about this, man?
Oh,
what?
I was gonna say the internet loves to correct people. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, stupid! It's over there in the corner. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I definitely back what Pim says. Like whenever, to be totally fair, I don't stream to a lot of people usually. Usually my chat's pretty damn dead. I do have one loyal person that has been like ride or die since day one, and every time I go live, he's there. Like, it is ridiculous, but it's usually just him and I, right? So a lot of my conversation when I'm streaming is either talking to him or just total stream of consciousness, right? But the other thing is I also stream like a lot of Diablo 3 because I mean, frankly, that's just that's a game that I really enjoy. It's one of the only games that's been consistently enjoyable for me. There's been other games where I enjoy for a little while, but then I find that they're kind of boring for me to stream. But I also play hardcore, so people like to see if I'm going to die or not. And I also usually am on the hardcore leaderboard, so I'm usually highly ranked. But I'm able to talk about in depth kind of like what skills I'm using, why I'm using them, what items, stuff like that. And while I'm playing, I'll usually talk about like, okay, here's the things I'm trying to avoid. Here's the effect that this champ pack has. Here's the build that I'm using. Here's the skills I'm using, like all that stuff, and try to do it a little bit more in depth with the thought process also that if I did want to turn that into a YouTube video of like, here's the build I'm using and here's the demon hunter that I'm using for hardcore, that whatever, I can easily do that, right? Because I'm already kind of doing the tutorial-esque aspect of it while I'm streaming. But I've definitely gotten good about kind of talking to myself and narrating that stuff. My wife hates it because I do it even when I'm not streaming now. It's just kind of like second nature. Like I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go hide in this tall grass. I'm gonna wait for him to come by because I threw a wind chime and now he's dead. And like she's like, who are you talking to? She's like, I'm right here, and you're not even looking at me. So, I mean, that's kind of the way it goes. But yeah, definitely like just like whatever thoughts you have in your head, as long as you know they're not stupid and racist or something like that, just blurt them out. Like I do it all the time. I was like, wow, that was dumb. Why did I? Oh my god, why did I do that? And then like I'll flub over my words. It's like I don't know. You mean what I know? Like I'm sorry.
You mean what I know?
I'm not even talking to anybody, but I'm just like, you know, whatever comes to mind. I'm just like, you know, trying to make sure the stream isn't just like dead silence or nothing but video game sounds. I think Max the Catfish mentioned it, but I've definitely seen where like people feel like they're interrupting just a dead stream. Like if it's just completely silent, it feels weird to come in and be like, hey, how's it going? And then like maybe that person doesn't even acknowledge you, which feels bad because they're just like, you know, doing their thing. Or like I said, you kind of feel like you're interrupting them. And I found this out in a weird way, showing my game off at PAX. I found out that if you don't have somebody playing your game, like maybe the convention just started or whatever, and you just have like a game pad sitting there on the pedestal, like waiting to be played, people will not walk up and grab it because they don't want to be like the first person to like, oh, guys, mind if I play this? Like nobody wants to take that initiative, right? So the best thing you can do is just be playing it already, right? And like interacting with it. And like people will usually just walk up and like, all right, I'm going to watch this dude, right? Like, okay, let's see if this looks good. And because I'm the developer, I'm just like, do you want to play this? Like, I play this all the time. Like, the controller, and they're like, oh yeah, sure. I'm like, okay, yeah. And then they'll start playing, and then it kind of happens after that, right? Other people line up to watch them, and it's just like a chain reaction, which is cool. Yeah.
There you go. For me, I troll a lot. I talk a lot of shit in my stream.
So much shit.
Oh, I have to. Like, I'll talk shit to a new viewer. Like, if it's your first day, I'll be like, "What's up, you fucking bot?" And if you don't like that, the content's probably not for you in the first place. But it really gets chat going because that's already something that they can respond to you with, is like more shit talking. We keep it friendly. Like, we're super kind. We're super welcoming to everybody. We're very friendly people, but we like to friendly shit talk people. You know what I mean? And like, I built like this whole thing about Donata, which is the like Rob 1.0, Robbusey Rob 2.0, because he's the better, less annoying, and more approachable version of Donata. And I have this thing where I don't give Rob 1.0 any compliments. I have chat talk shit to him when he doesn't play well, even though he carries me most of the time. Like, giving people that you play with like a specific personality that chat can kind of play off in a friendly way is super important. And I think it's really helped chat interaction because there's kind of like a reason to keep talking. You know what I mean? If you're shit talking everybody, you know, as long as you keep it civil, obviously. But yeah, that's what I do to kind of keep chat going. Is I just talk shit a lot. It's very fun. But Righteous Ranger, I hope we were able to help you out, man. Thank you for the question. If any of you have any questions that you would like us to answer, make sure to come back here next Monday, 11 a.m. EST, and we'll gladly answer your questions for you guys. So Robu, my dude, where can people find you, and what have you been up to lately?
Again, been playing a ton of Diablo 3 on hardcore, so if you want to watch me cry like a baby when I die, because it has happened, unfortunately, and try to push the leaderboard, you can find me at twitch.tv/Robbusey. It should be fairly easy to remember. It's my name right below the thumbnail there. And I don't, unfortunately, have a consistent schedule, but mostly stream on the weekends because of children and work.
This dude. All right, well, definitely everybody make sure to go hit up Robbusey with some love, especially if you like Diablo, because apparently he's really good at it or something. I don't know.
Depends on what class I'm playing, which season.
There you you go. But yeah, definitely go hit him up. Absolutely. Pimz, my dude, where can people find you and what have you been up to?
So you can find me at twitch.tv/Pimz or twitter.com/ is there a /user? Whatever. Pimz TV on Twitter. I am like hardcore focused on Rainbow Six Siege. I play a lot of ranked Saturdays and Mondays, and I'm in and out of the my own Discord. Links for that are everywhere. Yeah, that's Siege is my life.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate you. And Robu and Pimz, it was great to have you guys on the show again.
Yeah.
Pimz, I know it's been a while, but we'll see if we can do this again for sure. Same with you, Robu, obviously, I guess, whatever. Yeah, of course, man. Sadomi, where can people find you and what have you been up to lately?
Y'all can find me at twitch.tv/Sadomi. And lately, I've been working on starting an agency with MPI where we help out streamers, content creators, and small businesses with their marketing. So if you suck at YouTube thumbnails, at Twitter, at social media, at any of that, please hit one of us up. We'll be happy to help you out. And also, since we were just starting, we are offering new clients a workable fee. So whatever you want to work with us on, we'll make sure we can work with you. Okay? Beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Do you have anything that you could like link for people who are interested in that?
Right now, just no.
Okay. Stay tuned.
Yes,
maybe next
stay
week,
tuned,
maybe the
stay
week
tuned, yeah.
after.
We'll still get it before we finalize everything. We're gonna get all the legal stuff taken care of, so we don't get sniped out. So, but yeah, once everything's ready, I'll definitely have that all information for you. So, stay tuned.
Awesome.
Love it.
All right. So everybody, thank you again for tuning in this week. We really appreciate you. Thank you everybody for the questions. Thanks for hanging out. We love helping you guys out with whatever questions you have about Twitch or any of the topics that we discuss. Please go hit up these awesome people. They're all great. I don't have people on the show that I don't actually support, Lamau. But yeah, so I really appreciate everything you guys do for this channel, and we'll see you guys next week. And as always, Sadomi,
Blaze it up.
there you go. Take it easy, everybody. Have a great day. Stay safe.